minds think alike. Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. Let's rock. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. You're now tuned in.
All right, welcome to the Great Minds Podcast. This is Derrick.
This is Vaughn.
And we're here with Mickey Factz. What's good, brother?
Salute.
It's Mickey. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man?
Appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you checking in with us.
Yeah. So brief introduction. If you don't know Mickey Factz, you should know Mickey Factz, but ultimate lyricist from the Bronx, dope MC, and we're gonna tap in a lot about what got him into rap, the state of rap, things like that, and just kick it, have a good conversation. So Mickey, definitely appreciate your time and all that.
Word up.
Yeah, guys, for having me. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so Mickey, we're gonna tap right in. We know you're from the Bronx. What's your background? What's some of your early influences prior to getting in rap, or as you built your interest in the rap?
Well, my father used to rap to me while I was home. So this was like 1982. He was rhyming. I was introduced to this thing called rap before I was even here.
No doubt.
And I guess subconsciously, that bled into my mind. After that, being born in New York City in the 80s, you kind of see, what's going on in terms of the crack era, the graffiti, the fashion, obviously the movies, Do the Right Thing, House Party. All of these things are influential to me. MTV Raps, but the one main person who got me into it really was Big Daddy Kane.
Okay. It's funny. It's funny you said that. I heard you reference your pops rapping on the joint with Blue and Knots too. So I thought that was pretty dope. And you said he basically had like to handle some father responsibilities, which he really couldn't tap in as much as he wanted to.
Yeah, man, he had me early. He had me when he was, I think, 21.
Okay, yeah.
It's a different experience to have me at 21 and me to have my first son at 38. I was able to kind of have the freedom to move around and dedicate a lot of time and effort into building and owning my career and my craft. He didn't have that chance or that obligation. So, he had to kind of get to work.
Right.
No doubt, Mickey. So I spent some time in the Bronx. I grew up in the Bronx. So, I'm familiar with the Bronx. I always root for the Bronx no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I went to PS 100, IS 131. Yep, IS 131. Steve-O. I know about Steve-O. I know you went to Stevenson. So, like, I was right.
Both of those schools.
You went to both of those schools?
Yeah, I went to IS 131, PS 100, and Steve-O.
That's probably there at the same time.
We probably were there at the same time. We were there definitely because I left in going to 8th grade. I left out right before, my mom pulled me out. We moved over across the water. So I was, so I'm always rooting for BX. And once you came out, when I really started following like around 06, I was like, yo, my man from Steve-O. I didn't know about the 131 part. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about Stevenson in that area too, I tell people, is very influential with music, especially Steve-O. Like a lot of people don't know that African Bambaataa went to Stevenson High School. Like mad people went to Steve-O. So what's about Stevenson that has that vibe? A lot of musicians came out of there. Even I think my man from High Five went there, right? One of the dudes from High Five came from Steve-O.
Probably. Obviously African Bambaataa went to Stevenson High School.
Yeah.
Remy Ma is out of Stevenson High School. Drag On is out of Stevenson High School.
Drag.
Yep.
And Def Jam and Pun would always come to the school. I think a lot of it had to do with, Stevenson was smack dab in the middle of four projects.
Yep.
Four of the major projects in that area, and then obviously the four projects was Castle Hill, Bronxdale, Monroe, Soundview.
Yep.
And then you had the smaller situations like Stevenson Commons, Class and Point, Sackworm, you know, all of those areas. So there's just a lot of tension, a lot of talent, and you know, it was dope, you know, going to school in this time frame, and being and just kind of being cool with everybody from every hood, you know what I'm saying, just off of just rapping, you know what I'm saying. I wasn't delegated to just Monroe, which was the closest projects that I lived next to, you know what I'm saying. You know, I had a cousin that was in Bronxdale, and then a lot of the homies, because I had went to 174 for 1 year. 174 was strictly Castle Hill niggas.
Yep.
so by the time I got to Stevenson, I knew all the Castle Hill niggas.
Yep.
And I knew all the Monroe niggas because I lived there. I knew the Bronxdale niggas hanging with my cousin, and the Soundview niggas was the niggas that was hanging with niggas in Sackburn and you know, 174. A couple niggas was going there from 174 too. So I had the best of both worlds. I got lucky being able to kind of go to 174 that 1 year, you know.
And that's the crazy part about real quick, D, about Stevenson. Like Mickey's right. You got a lot of friction that's going on in Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of like Bronx history that's going on there. A lot of dudes don't like each other. And now you come into the same school.
Right.
So it's like, yo, it's nothing but conflict. It's nothing but conflict. You can't avoid it. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely right, able to maneuver through there. So like I know about 174. I was coming from 131. So, you know, it was one of those things. Mom's was like, yo, we might have to make a move. Because Stevenson was getting kind of crazy. And we the same age bracket, so it was the same time, yo. It was exactly the same time.
Slid him right over to Bergen County.
Gotta get out of there, bro.
Oh, you went to Jersey?
Yeah, I went to Jersey, bro. I went to Jersey. I was begging mom to keep me. Like, yo, mom, let me stay because my mom worked for the Board of Ed. You know, real quick recap. So I was able to go to any school in District 8, right? So she had an end with 131. So I went to 100 and 131. And I'm like, yo, mom, let me stay here. Don't move me because, yo, 8th grade, everyone gonna break up anyway. People gonna go wherever they're gonna go. You know how it is in the city. She's like, nah, you coming out now. Because this was a good point because a lot of people that I was close with, we were starting to steer. You know what I'm saying? You know that park right by 131, cats stopped going to school and it was going at the park. You know what I'm saying? Chilling at the park. And then you had, if you was from Soundview, you know, you had people that would just kind of keep you from going, you know what I'm saying? Mickey knows what I'm saying. So there's a lot of different things going on there. So I definitely can feel that Bronx energy.
Wow, man. I mean, you know, just to kind of, and I know y'all got a lot of questions, but just to kind of stick on this Stevenson energy. I built my name up in Stevenson because I was in 131 and 174. Mm-hmm. So when I got to Stevenson, I started rapping and everybody kind of knew who I was. And, you know, for my first year there, you know, Drag was there, a couple other cats was there. And I didn't do so well my first year in high school. I almost quit rapping. But my man, Jay Money, shout out to him. He told me, yo, don't quit, man. You got a talent. You just you gotta work harder. You gotta practice, you know. So I left school. I left 97, because the first year was 96, 97, I believe. Yep. So 97, 98, when I came to school, I was determined. I spent my whole summer freestyling, memorizing raps. When I came to school, I was the nicest nigga in school. Yeah, I was so nice. There was other niggas coming from other schools to see who I was.
Yeah,
right.
Niggas from Kennedy pulling up, niggas from Smith, niggas from Roosevelt was pulling up. Like it was a situation, like, you know what I mean? And that was just all from hard work and wanting to be the best at that time.
No doubt.
So who were some of your influences when you really started rapping? Like we know early on you might have listened to rap. Like around the time you was rapping in high school, who were some of the dudes you really looked up to?
Well, this is like 9-7, so I really was tapped into Mace.
Yeah.
Big Mace, the Locks. This is early Locks. So you know, Cannabis, DMX, Pun, Big L,
yep,
McGruff,
Yeah, McGruff was a problem, yo.
Sporty Thieves, early Cam. A lot of it was just so much. It was so much New York energy. Redman, Meth. It was so much New York energy that it was hard to kind of go elsewhere. The firm came together at that time. So Foxy, AZ, and Nas. Shout out to AZ with his new project out.
Yeah, that's dope.
Nature, Cormega. Like it was so much happening. Wu-Tang had just dropped. It was, I mean, the sequel, Ray had dropped 2 years prior. ODB, like it was just a lot of these people influenced me because they all had different styles, but they also had the basic foundation of the science of hip hop in terms of how to put stuff together. And I just dove deep into studying what they were doing. So when it was time for me to put my stuff together, it was like I jumped in at a high level.
Right.
Right. You know what's dope about you too, and I can always tell by the way you spit. You're a very smart individual. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people probably know, but some don't, that after Stevenson, you went to NYU. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you went to NYU. So you were on the college trajectory pretty much. Like you were like kind of like, I'm doing music, but I'm doing it as a hobby. It's not what I'm thinking it's gonna be my job. You know what I'm saying, per se at that time. So what made that switch to go, you know what, I'm gonna take this very seriously?
I was in class falling asleep.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried, man. I really did try. I would take naps before class. I would drink cappuccino with a triple shot of espresso. And I would still fall asleep in class, no matter how hard I tried to stay awake. I just couldn't focus, man. And I understand why people take, Adderall and certain pills, because it just wasn't for me at the time. And when and then I saw the bill.
Word.
Yeah,
and
I try no joke.
The bill was so crazy. I said, nah. My man was like, look, if you really want to be Mickey Factz, you gotta be dead serious about it and just quit. Just drop out. And let's go hard. And I said, okay. And I stopped going to school. It was the smartest decision.
Yeah, what type of courage it take to do that?
It took a lot of courage, man. I had already quit my job at the law firm. So I quit my job at the law firm to have more time to do music and still appease my mother by going to school.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I didn't have any money. Well, I mean, I had money, but I didn't have constant money coming in. Yeah. And I wasn't going to school. So once my mom found out that I had dropped out, she found out later. Like I had dropped out in like April, May. She found out I dropped out like in September, she found out.
Gotcha.
And once she found out, I got kicked out the house.
Yeah, you couldn't even finish the semester, man. You was right there.
Nah, man, I couldn't do that, man. I really couldn't. I tried, bro. I really tried. I really did try. And, it just wasn't for me. It really wasn't for me. And, the way, I didn't realize this, right? Because at one point I also wanted to get into computer, I wanted to be remember with the A+ certification. Remember that was the big thing?
Right.
I wanted to be a computer technician. And what turned me off about that was you had to keep learning about new technology all the time. You had to keep learning. And I was like, I don't want to continuously go to school. This is not something that I want to do. But then, with rap, you got to keep learning still. You got to keep seeing what's new, what's hot, but at least it's fun for me.
Right.
It wasn't, that stuff wasn't fun. So I decided it was time for me to go.
Well, yeah, like I think that's dope because a lot of people make the mistake of continuously going to school when their heart's not in it, grades could fall, and they're just wasting money. You know what I'm saying? So you could tell that after the first semester, like, yo, this ain't for me. Yo, more power to you. You know what I'm saying? You're saving money, you're saving heartache, and then you focusing on your dream. You know what I mean? I think a lot more people should do that because college isn't isn't everything. You know what I'm saying? Like Derrick and I, we got our degrees, but he actually went further with his degrees. But I always said college sets you up for how the world looks and gives you perspectives. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you're extra smart because you finished school or because you have a degree. I know a lot of people that have a degree that just have no common sense. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, I think people need to take heed to what you're saying, and just like, nah, it wasn't for me, and I tapped out and follow my heart and my dream. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel, you know, if someone did graduate and did, you know, get their degrees, you know, more power to you, salute to you. I admire that, right? Like, because I feel like the world needs entertainers, the world needs, you know, creatives, the world needs builders and thinkers, but the world also needs worker bees. It also needs people that will facilitate specific things that continue to make the world go round. And I salute everybody that does everything, whether it's going to school, whether it's building and inventing something, whether it's starting their own business and being an entrepreneur, whether it's doing a 9 to 5, whatever to that makes you happy or keeps you going. You know, I salute that. I just knew that I just knew that aspect of my life, it wasn't for me at the time.
No doubt.
Yeah, I think the way things were programmed with our parents, like you go to high school and then you go to college. You know what I'm saying? That was just like kind of the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And you held off because you didn't want to disappoint your mom, I'm assuming, all that time, because to leave for rap, that sounds crazy to a elder at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like to leave for rap, like you can't even fathom that. So now
my mom was pissed.
I'm sure.
I bet
yeah, I'm sure.
Like any mom would be, bro. Like any mom would be the same way. Like, nah, what are you doing?
Yeah. So Mickey, all right. So I got a question about this, and Vaughn doesn't call it the underground anymore, but
nope.
But I just say that so that I agree with you, but I say that so that we know what we're talking about here. We're not talking about mainstream. What are your thoughts on the underground scene? I think it's the best it's ever been, personally. Me, I think it started around the pandemic. I might have been behind the 8 ball on that, but I feel like it really took off around the pandemic time. What do you think? Your thoughts on the underground scene?
I think you're right. I mean, I think even before the pandemic, right? Like, I think Benny, Conway, and Westside kind of ushered in, you know, obviously off of the sound bed of Rock Marcy and Brownsville K.A., you know, like they came in and just kind of kicked the door off the hinges. And then leading into the pandemic, you know, it allowed for artists like RJ Payne and Ransom to kind of flourish when, you know, they had their respective fan bases, but now it's been like, whoa, what have we been missing all this time? Even myself, you know, just kind of blossoming through this era has been a great look for me and other artists such as myself to kind of come in and take hold of their support system and move forward in a direction where they can make a sustainable career out of their content and art.
No doubt. I think you're part of a generation of rappers that, you know, we're in the same age bracket. So I think that you guys don't get a lot of credit for what you guys did in that 2006, 2010, during that time frame, because there was like a shift that happened where it went strictly to like MP3 stuff and things started changing, computers started changing. You know what I'm saying? Guys started getting their music through the computers, going to blogs, doing stuff like that. So how did y'all come, well, especially you in general, how did you start tapping in? Is it because you knew about computers before? A lot of people probably thought it was cool to know about them. Like you started tapping into that earlier than other people. And I think you guys, and you specifically, paved the way for what we're doing now with all these streams and things like that. So how did that come about?
Man, you know, you brothers are intelligent brothers, man. So I'm gonna just go out here and say it, man.
No doubt.
The reason why I was so good on the computer was because of Black Planet, man. I mean, that's
yeah, there we go.
Straight to it.
Yeah, Black Planet.
I was out here, you know, when being on a computer was deemed as being a nerd and this and that, I was on Black Planet scooping all kind of situations. And it was interesting because I was like, man, I'm on this Black Planet thing, and I'm talking to girls all over the country. I wonder if this will work with music too.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, I'm on Black Planet in 2002, 2003, where having a computer was, you didn't have a computer.
For real.
You know, I was using my company computer. That's one. And then two, I would go to the library and stay there till they kicked me out, and then go home, and I would have to wait until the next day to see all of these messages.
Right.
They don't know about that, Mickey, by hitting the library to use the computer. They don't know about that.
They don't know about that.
What a computer lab.
You be taking up all the time.
Word up.
So I did that for a while, and then I thought about it. I was like, man, I wonder if something like that's for music. And lo and behold, MySpace.
Yeah.
And yep. And me and my peoples, we kind of took over MySpace, man. Like we was very gung-ho about the marketing plans on MySpace for a long time. And that's how we got hot. And we didn't want to go to the mixtape DJs anymore. They were overcharging, and we had fans all over the world. So we kept that energy going when Twitter was created. Twitter was created at the end of 2007.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember joining Twitter. I may have been like one of the first people on Twitter. It started in December of 2007. And I was on Twitter, and I remember it was brand spanking new. And I was on it since then. I already had a Facebook page, so I was already, online on Facebook. So I have fans all over the place that was following me since then. And I was like, I'm not going back to the DJ mixtape DJs. I'm gonna put my music on MySpace, Facebook. I'm gonna tweet it. And then the next thing you know, blogs were a thing. And he was like, well, we got all of these other things. Let's go to the blogs. And I went to the blogs, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
I was a blog darling.
Yeah.
And
I think you guys need to get more credit for that, though. You guys paid the
way.
way.
I don't think a lot of people doing that. And I know you dabble in the battle rap scene too. Well, we haven't had a battle rapper on here, so this is perfect. How do you prepare for that? I mean, without giving your exact technique, how do you attack a situation like that?
Well, for me, I've only done it 3 times.
Okay.
So I as soon as I figure out this is somebody who I want to take, I start putting ideas down. And I could write a round in like a day. Then I give my brain some time to breathe, maybe 2-3 days, jump back in and write another round. And then, another 2-3 days, write another round. So I could write a round. I could write 3 rounds in maybe like 8 days, maybe 9 days. And then it's going to take me about a month to memorize all of that.
Yeah.
Maybe a month and a half.
It's like a script.
Yeah. So you're looking at about 2 months to prepare. It's a lot because you have to kind of, you have to silence everything that's around you. So your significant other doesn't spend as much time with you. You away from your kids. You're rapping while you're cooking. I mean, not rapping, but you're practicing while you're cooking. You're practicing while you're showering. You're practicing while you're driving. You're practicing while you're playing video games. I'm constantly reciting, make sure this thing is down pat, because you don't get a chance there's no do-overs. You have to do it one take.
Right. To me, you're like a rapper's rapper. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I think sometimes you get overlooked. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, all right, because you're humble. You know what I'm saying? You're a humble rapper, do your thing. You're not with the rah-rah stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you're not out there beating your chest, people don't understand how nice you are. And then you got to show them. You know what I'm saying? So how does that always feel to kind of seem like throughout your career, the highs and lows, the ups and downs, it seems like sometimes your pen gets questioned. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that make you feel? You're like, yo, I've been doing this for eons. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like a lot of times it goes back to when the culture was changing. You know, a lot of the spitters that people hold in such a high regard, they were able to capitalize off of the mixtape DJs who were already world renowned and their cosigns was heavy. And then they had big budgets if they had record labels. So they were able to get that push. Whereas me, everything that I've ever done came off the arm. Like it was off of sheer talent alone and our own marketing know-how. I didn't start funneling money into myself until maybe 2014. And before that, maybe 2010 when the label started, but they wasn't funneling it into my skill set as a lyricist. They was funneling it into the music, the musicality side of it. So a lot of the rappers and a lot of the fans didn't know I could rap until as of late, you know, because for the longest it was more so music, you know. And you know, being a lyricist, I wasn't a lyricist back then. Sorry if I'm just moving around a lot.
No, you good, bro.
Comfortable, but I wasn't a lyricist back then. I was more so, I was trying to make the best possible music. And my fan base wasn't the typical hip hop person's fan base, you know? So from 2008 to like 2014, if you came to a Mickey Factz show, it was gonna be white people and it was gonna be women. It was not gonna be a bunch of men. You were gonna see beautiful women at my shows and you were going to see white people at my shows. It was not a lot of black men that were at my shows. And that's the typical fan and internet commenter on hip hop mostly. And for a long time, you know, obviously we said we weren't going to speak on it, but you know, I'm gonna just, you know, touch on the comment side of the Rafe record. It was a lot of who said they hadn't dived into my catalog until that record. And it was mostly men. It was mostly black men.
Yeah.
Hip hop men. But like my fan base, which now is built of 26 to 35 male East Coast, you know, they already knew. But even the fans before that, white fans and the women and the overseas fans, they already knew, you know, what I do. Is just that if it wasn't pushed in your face due to marketing dollars and big cosigns by top tier artists, it's easy to overlook someone. It's very easy to not see someone's potential if your favorite artist's arm isn't wrapped around them.
Right.
Yeah. And I always say you're the person that no one should ever overlook when it comes to the pen game. You know what I'm saying? I've always said that too. So anything that you do, I'm not surprised at. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I know that. You know what I'm saying? I know that's going to happen. So I definitely want to see how you felt about that, because it's one of those things where people forget, you know, if it's not in their face, they don't know. Out of sight, out of mind type of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
All right, Mickey, what are your thoughts? Indie versus a major? Like what would make what's a good situation for somebody to sign to a major versus indie? I mean, there's got to be some perks, but what are your thoughts on the whole situation? Like who should sign to a major?
If you're an artist and you have a big record that's moving and
prior to signing?
Okay. And I'm talking like real movement. Like you got, let's say, because it's tough to quantify that.
With streams, I know.
But somebody, the best person to use as an example, and he was an anomaly, but somebody like Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda and Hot Nigga was an anomaly situation. He needed the major to push the record even further than what it was, because it got so popular from the dance online. And people were doing the dance. It wasn't just the song, it was the dance that made it go. because you hear that song on its own before the video comes out, and you're like, okay,
it's
like
cool.
you never hear the song, if you never see the video with the song, you're like, oh, this is a cool song.
Right.
But video takes it to a completely different level. So him and artists like that who have records and dances that can potentially make a lot of money, I would say sign to a major. And we're talking 10% of artists. Everybody else needs to stay indie. Build your fan base until you can get an astronomical amount of money from a label and then ride off into the sunset, man.
No, right. And that's the way I always thought about it too. And just knowing your career and stuff like that, how have you progressed? You can tell, like, and even I think you mentioned it a little bit earlier, that during a certain time you were trying to make the best, you said the best music that you can make or the best records you can make. Maybe it was more like you were trying to make a radio record, of, just whatever is going to stick. And then all of a sudden you said, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just do, basically I'm going to do me. And I think the thing that's dope about you is that you're very personal with your music. So like I can tell when I listen to a record, what you're going through at that time, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? I've seen how the birth of your son changed, probably changed the way you put music out, right? Your thought process was different. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's dope that artists do that. You know what I'm saying? Because the money's going to come. That's going to come. Everybody ain't going to be Hove. Everybody ain't going to be Drake. No, it's not going to be like that. But I think if you make consistently great music and you're a true artist, your fans are going to follow. You know what I'm saying? And fans know when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. They can tell. Like your real fans can tell. You know what I'm saying? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Everything you said is spot on. When I got to the label, I was willing to compromise and do the radio records. And I was really good at doing radio records. That's why I got my deal, because I was making a lot of radio records. Doing regular records is the easiest thing in the universe. Making a radio record was a little tougher. But, if you got your melodies intact at that time, my melodies was intact, simplified music, simplified lyricism for people to catch on to and appreciate, and not be too, outlandish with the lyrics and the bars, I was able to kind of tap into a different space. But, the label folded, so I wasn't able to ever showcase that on that level. The biggest record I had on the label was Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
For the Culture with Marsha Ambrosia would have been my introduction to, having a big record. But the label folded before I was ever given a chance. So I never really had a chance to kind of even, put out a big record that people could kind of get behind and say, Mickey did that. I never got that opportunity.
Right. No doubt.
So what other rappers or music you listening to now?
Currently, I listen to old gospel and old 90s R&B, man.
So
that's it, man. Other genres I don't really dive too deep into anymore like I used to. So I just stick to old gospel, old 90s R&B. And, whatever somebody puts out a new project these days, I try my best to tap in.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
You killed the verse on JR joint.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely did. On JR album, killed that.
And Ran joint. Yeah.
He always killing something. So that's normal. Joe, I had one question I want to tap in with you with. It's something that's been floating around the net and we don't know the situation between like Jonah and Karen Civil and all that stuff. So I ain't trying to say who's right, who's wrong, but it's a lot of shady stuff that happens, you know what I'm saying? Especially as an independent artist. And for people that don't know, we probably already know, allegedly Jonah paid $60K for something. He didn't get his return, and she kind of ghosted him. He felt, and this happened like 6 years ago before he really blew, and he brought it up. So how often, it made me think about how often does that happen though? Because I think it happens a lot, because there's always going to be, not saying crabs in the barrel, but you got to put your trust in somebody that you really don't know sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So I believe the story. I don't know everything about it, but how often do you think things like that happen, Mickey? I mean, you see stuff. You probably seen a lot of stuff than most people, than we ever seen. So how often things like that happen?
I believe it happens all the time. It's probably happening as we speak.
Yeah. Word up.
I, you know, I take good energy out of bad energy, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
just
I get that.
as an example of that, right? I just spoke very good about my record with Marsha Ambrosia for the culture. It was a great time. We shot the video, but she never tweeted, never put it on her Instagram, never shared it one time. It's a record over 1 million views on YouTube, and I premiered it on 106 in Park. It was going for ads, and she never shared it. So, for me, I said to myself, I will never ever do that to an artist that's coming up.
Right.
You know,
it's so easy to do too.
It
costs you nothing.
It's a double click
post.
A retweet. It's a retweet.
Yeah.
You ain't even got to quote it.
So I work with artists all the time, and I give them the harsh reality of what's going on and what to spend and what not to spend, and let them know you have to curb your expectations. Everybody's not going to be Drake. Once you understand that everybody's not going to be at that level, or some people are not even going to be at my level. But if you can get fans and supporters that will appreciate your art, you will always be good. And I try to, encourage that with people. But I can't, people get robbed every day, man. There's scammers all over the place. There's people in high places that take advantage of artists all the time. And I do my very best to do the exact opposite by mentoring people who get features from me, by constantly communicating with people who reach out to me, even like podcasters. People, I do a lot of interviews, and a lot of times artists turn that stuff down. That's one of the things that artists hate is interviews. So I think interviews are probably one of the best things about the industry. Being able to speak with different people all across the world with different viewpoints on life, I think it's incredible. So I adore it. But there are artists that do not do that, and they won't do that. Some of these artists charge. During the pandemic, I charged, but I only charged because we just had a brand new baby, and I couldn't leave my wife with the baby alone. So, and I let everybody know that if it goes past a half an hour, I have to charge because we have a newborn baby. Once he got to a certain age, I stopped charging. I was able to, if we let him walk around or run around, sometimes I hold him during an interview, or sometimes I could do it late at night. But, during the pandemic, I had to charge because we didn't have a babysitter. And at least, I would let my wife know, I know I can't be here with you, but at least we're going to be making some money over there. And sometimes I would just turn interviews down, and I felt bad because it's like, I don't like, disappointing people. It's just one of those things. But to answer your initial question, yes,
definitely.
People get done.
It's because we had that BS connection you didn't know about. We had the same same connection. That's why it worked out.
Yeah, but people get done dirty every day, man. It's a daily thing.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Outside of music, what is you tapped into? TV, sports, what you locking in with?
Video games.
What you rocking with?
Currently, I'm waiting on God of War 5. I'm waiting on Spider-Man 2. I'm waiting on this new Wolverine game. I'm waiting on Sifu. I'm a third person gamer, action adventure kind of guy. So I'm not into the 2K stuff.
Right.
I used to be, but not anymore. So aside from video games, comic book movies, highly into those. Disney Plus, all of the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of The Office.
I watched that
those compilations online all the time. I know I'm supposed to be, as a brother, I'm supposed to be binge watching Martin, but man, I love The Office. I love Michael Scott, man. That's my guy.
I say all the time, man. And I got my black card taken. I like King of Queens better than Martin.
I'm taking that on the show right now.
I'm taking that. I'm taking that everywhere. Not that I mean, of course, Martin's a legend, but that's just my taste right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I hear that. But nah, yo. So you want to jump to the rapid fire?
Yeah. So Mickey, we wrap up with a rapid fire. Just some open-ended questions, some this or that type of questions. So I'm gonna tap in with this. All right. It's mid-90s. You got enough money for one tape. I ain't even gonna say CDs. You ain't even there yet. Tape. You snatching the purple tape or Illmatic?
Illmatic.
Illmatic. All
right. What's your most memorable hip hop moment? Not including you, but just moment in general in hip hop that you can remember.
ODB going on stage.
The Grammys.
Yep.
No doubt. Wu-Tang for the kids, right? Wu-Tang for the children. So.
Yeah.
What's your favorite verse of yours? It doesn't necessarily have to be your best. What's your favorite verse of yours?
Favorite verse of mine is probably A-.
Okay.
Right.
All right. What's your favorite hip hop album besides Illmatic? Because you picked Illmatic over Purple Take. I know Illmatic gotta be number one besides Illmatic.
Nah, I don't think Illmatic is number one for me.
Okay.
Honestly, it would have to be either Life After Death or Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah, Life After Death, my number one album.
Life After Death was perfect. He was shooting 100% from the field, man.
Yeah, yeah. All type of tracks too. All right, what's the album of the year right now, excluding anything you want?
Tyler the Creator.
The joint with Drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that.
I think that might be album of the year until Kendrick drop.
Yeah, K-Dot, it's gonna be serious.
Is it gonna happen though?
Yeah, because he gonna tap out. He gonna drop down and tap out, I think.
Yeah, that's
he's
his
different type of dude. Yeah, he's a different type of dude. I think he's a true, I call it true artist type of thing, where it's not really about like the money for him. You know what I'm saying? So he'll dip out. All right, I'm gonna go do a curveball, different approach. Who's your all-time favorite actor?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
There we go. Leo ain't no joke.
Yeah, man. Wolf of Wall Street is my favorite joint of his, man.
Everything he touched is crazy.
Yeah, dope. Well, yeah. Mickey, you want to shout out your social media, man?
Yeah, man. Tap in. Factz is everywhere, man. Instagram, MICKEY.FACTZ, Twitter.com/Mickey Factz, Facebook.com/official Mickey Factz. And if you want some exclusive content, join me on Patreon.com/Mickey Factz.
All right. Well, Mickey, definitely appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate your time. I know that dad life is crazy. We all experience it.
Yeah, man.
So we definitely appreciate your time here, man. Salute to you.
Salute.
Peace, all right, man.
Peace out.
Great minds think alike. Great Minds Podcast. Great Minds think alike. Great Minds Podcast. Great Minds think alike. Great Minds Podcast. Great Minds think alike. Let's rock. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. 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 Derrick and Vaughn, oh boy, like Cam on a song. Culture safe now, thank God. The panic is gone. Time to heal from the pain. Take the bandages off. You gotta win. The stakes are high like a cannabis bomb. Okay, it's game time. Picture with the balls. That's a FaceTime. Great minds spreading faster than a rumor through the grapevine. Vaughn and Derrick deserve the merit. All salute. It's more than just a podcast. Show is like a movie. Vaughn and Derrick, what up? Great minds think alike. It's the Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. It's the Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. It's the Great Minds Podcast. Great minds think alike. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast. You're now tuned into the Great Minds Podcast.